Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with Dr. John Floros, Dean of the College of Agriculture at KSU. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Next, Duane Toews and Lance Gunderson are talking soil health, and then Ban Basse will tell us why cattlemen should be optimistic with current market trends. We'll end with Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. First today, Kyle Bauer and Dr. John Floros discuss the demand for students coming in and out of the College of Agriculture at KSU.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. My opportunity to visit with the Dean of the College of Agriculture at Kansas State University, Dean Floros. Dean, the good news is at Kansas State University, the College of Agriculture has really strong demand for both its students and both the students coming in and the students leaving.
Absolutely. We have 98% placement, and we could place every single one of them if they were willing to move a little bit from their little town. But the fact that we have such great success puts our students in demand. We can't grow anymore because of facilities. We're tapped out in most of our programs. We can grow in a few programs, but the majority of our programs are completely at capacity at this point.
You know, I've been out of the university now 37 years, and really a lot of the labs were old when I was there and are the same today.
They're not quite the same. They're older today.
Yeah, good point.
So this is, I think, the time for us to take a serious look at really updating all of our facilities. We have very old facilities across our teaching, education, research, and extension. All three of our major services are very old in terms of facilities. This is the time, I think, that we need some help to truly update our facilities and build new research labs, build some new educational facilities and classrooms, build some teaching laboratories, and also bring the technology up to date so that we can communicate a lot better with the outside world.
The college has a lot of demand for its research.
Absolutely. We're now one of the largest agricultural research organizations in the country. We do a lot of work for the Kansas farmers and ranchers. We do a lot of work for the U.S. Agriculture, but we also do a lot of global work, international work that has tremendous impact in everything that happens in the world. So for this college to work in facilities that are now at least 35 to 50 to 100 to 100 plus years old, it's just not it's not the competitive type of infrastructure that we need.
So the first phase of starting that evolution of better processes, how many dollars will that take?
The first phase, we've done the study a couple of years ago, and we need about $175 million to start this process. We're gonna build a brand new building that's going to be primarily research based, but we're also going to have an educational part in that building. We're going to have part of that go into remodeling some of our older buildings, and we're also going to build some peripheral facilities that we need from greenhouses and the like. So that first phase, at least at this point, is somewhere in the neighborhood of $175 million.
And where will that funding come from?
Well, we hope that the state will contribute part of that amount. We have the ability to raise a lot of money ourselves, so we think a lot of that money will come from private donations, from companies in the private sector. Maybe even some of that money will come from the federal government, because there's a desperate need, not just within K-State, but all the land-grant universities across the country are asking the federal government to chip in and help us as well.
We're visiting with Dean of the College of Agriculture at Kansas State University, Dean Floros. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Doug Shoup, Southeast Crops and Soil Specialist with Kansas State University, also serves as the chair of the Kansas Soybean Yield and Value Contest. And Doug, the 2017 contest is open for Kansas soybean producers.
Kansas is going to have a record soybean acreage planted this year, so it's kind of exciting that we're hitting that milestone in Kansas. We have 9 different districts. We have 8 geographical regions in Kansas that we split it up, and then we have one category for a statewide irrigation as well. So we do have 9 possible districts that you can enter into. We also have a tilled and a no-tilled category as well in each one of those districts. Anybody can enter that's involved in a farming operation. We just need 5 contiguous acres of soybeans for the yield contest, and that can be either validated through FSA acreage maps, or we ask that you have a witness come observe the harvest. And for the value contest, it's a separate contest from the yield contest, and you don't have to enter both. If you want to enter in the value contest, all we need is a 20-ounce sample of soybean seed sent in to the soybean office in Topeka. We have the cash prizes for the winners in each district. First place gets $300, second place gets $200, and third place gets $100. We also have an overall winner in the state for dry land. They get an additional $1,000. We also give an additional $1,000 to the overall winner in irrigated as well.
Still looking for that magical 100 bushels an acre too?
Yes, we are, Greg. Well, I know we've hit it in Kansas. We just need to document it. We are still trying to officially document having 100 bushel per acre yields on these 5 contiguous acres. You're the first one to do that, and you win the overall high yield across the state, you're going to get an additional $1,000.
If they would like to enter, what is the best way they can do that?
You need to go to kansassoybean.org. This is a program sponsored by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Association. We're the ones that direct the contest. Look under the association tab, and there are a drop-down menu that'll give you the yield and the quality contest. Click on that, and you can download the form. Make sure you send that form off to us, and make sure it's postmarked back to the soybean office in Topeka by December 1st.
That is Doug Shoup, K-State Southeast Crops and Soil Specialist, and also serves as the chair of the 2017 Kansas Soybean Yield and Value Contest on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more as Duane visits with Lance Gunderson from Ward Laboratories.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Duane and Lance discuss soil testing and soil health.
Duane Toews joining you once again with Ag AM in Kansas, and an opportunity to catch up with Lance Gunderson with Ward Labs, talking about soil testing and understanding what's going on below the soil surface. Things have changed a lot, Lance, in the last 5 or 10 years in particular relative to the time prior to that. It's not just about NP and K anymore.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As a soil testing lab, we've seen a lot. We've been around quite a long time. And for the most part, a lot of our soil testing has been centered around, chemical interactions with the soil and the plant. And we're trying to help farmers maximize the use of water and the use of nutrients to help maximize yields in the field. And, this new movement with soil health, and I say new, but I guess just because it's gaining so much momentum, it's the ideas are not new, but, they're certainly coming to the forefront. And as a laboratory, it's kind of our responsibility to step up and try to adopt a few of these new tools. And I certainly say that because they are tools, they're new. And we don't want to dismiss the old things that we've been doing. I mean, there's a very good foundation there. But with some of these new things, we're able to start to integrate things like biology, testing, some of the more of the physical parameters of the soil, that how this whole system ties together. And the goal is still the same. We want to maximize our nutrient use efficiency. We want to maximize the resources with the farmer's best interest in mind.
You mentioned a word that I want to get back to, and that's biology, because we haven't always looked at it that way. But when we think about activity below ground, it's a microcosm of extreme proportions.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. We know so little about the biology of the soil, but at the same time, we know so much. It's a glass half empty and half full all at the same time. And we're learning more every day. It's really becoming one of those amazing fields to work in and to talk with. It's fantastic to hear producers talk about biology, and they start to understand that, it's not just about what's above ground and what they can put in the grain bin, but it's about feeding the system and keeping the microbes running. And I learned from a wonderful company today about the plant biome and how we can basically cater the microbes to the plant and cater the soil to the plant, and how we can start to work with this through the system. So it's really been an amazing time, and we're just starting to kind of crack the surface with some of these tests. One of them is the Haney Soil Health Test, developed by Dr. Rick Haney and his colleagues down in Temple, Texas, working at the ARS station down there. And we also run a phospholipid fatty acid test, kind of a mouthful there. But that's another way to start looking at biology. We're really gearing up. We're getting on board. We're going to start running some soil enzyme tests. We're going to start looking at enzymatic activity in the soil and what that can tell us as it relates to nutrient cycling and residue decomposition and some of those things. So it's an exciting time in soil testing.
Talking about all of those issues, really it's about that life cycle and looking at soil as a living organism rather than a snapshot that we used to with the soil test.
Yeah, absolutely. It one of the frustrations measuring soil and with soil testing is that when you start factoring in biology and you start talking about a living system, living things are very rarely static. If they're static, they're dead. And so we're trying to hit a moving target, right? And as if farmers' lives weren't difficult enough with all that they do, now we're trying to understand and measure a living target and relate that to decisions that they're going to make in the field. One of the wonderful things, though, when we consider biology and we start using biology, we can build resilient systems. So soil systems that are healthy, much like human beings, if you're healthy and you live a healthy lifestyle, you're not as sick as often, you feel better, you're more productive. We can make soils that way.
Our thanks to Lance Gunderson, Ward Labs, joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for some optimistic outlooks for the cattle business.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and Ban Basse talking market trends in cattle.
An ag resource market analyst says opportunities in agriculture are beginning to look up.
We are not as bearish of agriculture as been over the last 3 or 4 years. Agricultural opportunities seem to be bottoming out. We believe the banker is cutting back in some of his lending. But we do believe that this year's corn and soybean crop won't be as large as last year. We see the U.S. corn yield between 164, 166 bushels an acre, maybe soybeans 47, 47 and a half, and that will provide some levity. We also like the opportunity from China in beef. We think that the Chinese will be looking for beta-agonist-free beef sometime in early 2018, and that will provide an opportunity, along with strong consumer demand, domestic demand, to get some improving beef prices and cattle prices as we look forward to the first and second quarter of 2018.
Basse believes drought in the northern plains pushed cattle placements earlier, and that means lower prices in the near term will improve into next year.
And that combination of seasonality and fewer supply should give us a run up to maybe $124, $128 per centimweight, and then thereafter we should start to see prices easing down. But we're going to bottom, we think, in the fourth quarter somewhere between 100 to 104. So it is a nice run to the upside as we look forward to 2018.
Other countries cutting back numbers and increased domestic and export demand will also bolster prices.
Consumers are eating more beef in this country than we've seen in an awful long time. We have to go back to 2008. So increasingly lower beef prices has caused the consumer to reach for supply, and we think that this is something that will continue. So going forward, the strong domestic demand, better export interest, particularly from China, should give us that demand pull market as supplies tighten and we look forward.
Basse advises cattle feeders to look for breaks in the market to secure feedstuffs.
We say that because as yields come down and farmers find out they don't have all of the crop they had in years prior, that they will be stronger storers of grain and we'll see more demand coming from China in terms of soybeans. So we think the next couple of weeks are key for the U.S. feedlot industry to get some stuff priced.
Basse also says it's not a strongly bullish market, but it's bullish nonetheless. I'm Bob Cervera.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Clyde Sutton, Ness City, Kansas. Lived on this place all my life. About a year and a half ago, got to where I couldn't saddle a horse. The pain was terrible. Read about stem cell. First it wasn't for me, then they started doing neck and back. Before I went down to Manhattan, the pain I was having from my neck down to my hand was curling my hand back. Some people had thought I almost had a stroke, and my shoulder had drawed up. I couldn't lift, I couldn't sleep, I really couldn't do anything, and was scheduled to be operated on, but was scared of the knife, I guess. Went and had it done. As you can see, I saddled a horse. I'm still building fence. Love to shoot a shotgun rifle, and I'm able to participate, not like I used to, but nevertheless I can do the things I used to do. And I want to personally thank the doctors, nurses, staff at Kansas Regenerative Medicine for the opportunity they give me to have my life back again.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Allen Toews.
Kyle Bauer, your fact or fiction question of the day while playing golf in Colorado. It guarantees your drive, your ball off the tee, it'll travel through the air 10% farther than it would in any other state. Fact or fiction?
Well, there's a guarantee it'll go straighter. First of all, there's a little difference between the southeast corner of Colorado and the top of the Rocky Mountains. So if that is a true statement, I'm going to call foul, because there's very little difference in the elevation between...
How many golf courses have you seen in southeast Colorado?
That's beside the point.
Okay.
I'm going to go fiction.
It's true.
It doesn't guarantee it.
It's what it says.
It doesn't mean that paper's right.
Well, that's what it says. You can dispute the fact finder, but...
Have you ever played in the mountains?
I have not.
I did once.
I know in baseball they talk about the ball flying out of the yard.
Oh, yeah.
But they're playing right there at Denver, more or less.
Sure, which is a mile high. And
yeah.
Kansas City, I don't know, probably in the neighborhood of 1,300. So there's significant difference in height there.
Elevation.
By the way, don't take that 1,300 to the bank, but Denver is the mile high city.
Right.
I guaranteed, come on. And I know there are golf courses up in the Vail area and up in there, which is 10,000 feet.
Sure.
So there'd be a whale of a difference there versus humid Colorado. So,
or down in the southeast.
La Junta.
Yeah.
So I could say foul. You can call me you can say I lost that one.
Poor loser.
The loser just the same. Student loans on the default list are increasing significantly.
Really?
Yeah, about 11% right now. And that, by the way, that's not just 15, 30 days late.
Right.
That's 270 days late.
Oh, that's
that's pretty delinquent.
It's problematic.
That's past the point of hoping these people are going to.
They just forgot this month's payment.
I just forgot this year's payment.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah. Exactly. So. But interestingly enough, the people who default are the average student loan is $30,000.
Okay.
The average default is $32,000. So they're, as a percent of the total student, if you have a bigger student loan, you have more likelihood of defaulting.
Not much.
Well, you're right. It's not even 10%.
Yeah, it's just 2% higher.
Not 2%.
Well, you said 32.
30 versus 32.
Right.
Well, so
on a percentage basis.
Yeah, on a percentage basis. Yeah, it'd be about 8%. Right.
Okay.
So
a bit of a technicality.
Well, okay, but it is larger anyway. So schools, I think, are doing a little better job these days of not portraying student loans as free money.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.